it. Okay, so if you've been around the channel for any amount of time, you know that I love banana bread. What I don't love is doing these super crazy mega versus episodes. Because if I don't pick your favorite YouTube chef, I get called and to the other 95% of you who don't call me names, thank you, I appreciate you, but you guys seem to really enjoy these, so we are back doing another one today. So as I mentioned, I love me some banana bread. Any kind, any variation, it's all good to me as long as it doesn't have nuts in it, because obviously I can't eat that, I'm very allergic. But the rest I am absolutely a-okay with, so our 4 contestants today are going to be our reigning champion, Sam the Cooking Guy, Bon Appetit, Chef John from Food Wishes, and the wild card, me. Most of you guys probably don't even know this, but a couple years back, I was in a phase of trying to come up with my own recipes and variations, and one of which was a pumpkin spice banana bread. This was from 2016, if I remember correctly, and it was delicious. I'm gonna try to remain as unbiased as possible through this, but we will cross that bridge once we get there, so let's get right into this one. Before I dive into any one of these recipes, let's talk bananas. These are the kind of bananas that you want. They are overripe, they're too mushy for most people to enjoyably eat on their own, and they get super sweet at this stage. Bananas like these are okay to use. They're not going to give you as sweet or as moist of a product, but you can always just add a little more dairy or sugar to make up for that. These don't even bother using. I've tried the experiment of trying to put them in the oven at a low temperature to get them like black and mushy. It just doesn't come out the same. If you're absolutely in a pinch, that's your only option, go for it. Otherwise, just wait a couple days. Now that my banana rant is over, let's get into Bon Appetit's version, recipe number 1. I grabbed some flour and baking soda, plain yogurt and milk chocolate chips, kosher salt and dark brown sugar, some butter, a couple eggs, and some bananas. You might be thinking to yourself, it's just banana bread, like how different can they possibly be? And again, just like the chicken, you'd be pretty surprised from the ingredients, to the measurements, to the cooking time, and the procedure of the whole recipe. These are actually very different. I started Carla's by mashing up my bananas with a potato masher. You want about 1.5 cups of mashed bananas in total. And then you're gonna whip together your dry stuff and set that aside too. Now the remainder of this recipe is gonna come together in this final bowl, and it's been a very long time since I whipped out the hand mixer. It's a good old friend of the channel, but I don't find much use for it anymore. I guess the only pivotal step in this specific recipe is to not overmix your dry stuff. And that's my main problem with banana bread. It's not even bread, it's more like a cake or muffins or something. The way that you just barely want to hydrate your flour and stuff is more reminiscent of a brownie. You don't want any gluten in this, you don't want any chew, that's why it shouldn't really even be called bread. This recipe gets finished with your bananas and your chocolate chips, and then gets baked in a 8.5 inch by 4.5 inch pan at 350 degrees for about an hour. Recipe number 1 is complete, and already has my entire house smelling amazing, so let's give this one a taste. I love banana flavored things, whether it's fake bread or candy or whatever, it's just so good. This is also very dark, and that's obviously due to the dark brown sugar. Usually they're much lighter and you can kind of see the granules of banana. Not in this one. Oh yeah. We're starting out very strong. This is just everything you picture a banana bread being. It's not overly sweet, but it's super flavorful, it's crazy moist. Sorry to use that word again. This just already feels like the recipe you can never go wrong with, because it's so simple. I don't know what you could possibly mess up. Very, very strong start. Up next is Chef John, aka Food Wishes. You guys had a conniption that he was not involved in the last video, but he is here today, and for his variation I grabbed some flour and kosher salt, baking soda, butter, and baking powder, white sugar, dark chocolate chips, some milk and vanilla extract, a few eggs, and some more bananas. I started with the same banana mashing procedure with the potato masher. This is honestly something I never thought of before. I always just used a fork, but it works pretty darn well. Again, we have to throw together our dry stuff in a separate bowl, And all these different recipes might not look too different in this video, but I highly suggest you go check out their original recipes, because even the flour amounts are like wildly different. Also, complete side note, I don't know how there's not a ton of comments on this guy's channel, but the first time I ever watched him, I literally thought he was the voice from the How It's Made series on Discovery Channel or whatever it's from.
When an inflated rubber ball falls to the ground, it bounces back,
which is just all-purpose flour, some salt, some baking powder, and baking soda.
Now, the remainder of this recipe is very controversial because he does not use any mixer. In fact, he says it's kind of pointless to whip your butter and your eggs and sugars and stuff like that. I'm going to withhold my opinions for now, but we finished this off with 2 eggs, some vanilla extract and milk, our dark chocolate chips, and then eventually the dry ingredients, making sure not to overmix this one as well. This recipe will eventually finish in a 9 by 4 inch pan in a 325 degree oven for 70 minutes. I already have the nervous sweats knowing that I have to rank all these and upset some of you, but let's stop procrastinating, let's get into this one. Alright, Chef John, your time has come. I apologize for not including you in the chicken video, but you have some very passionate subscribers. Look how different these two are in color. This is Bon Appetit, this is Chef John. That's due to the amount of bananas, the type of sugar. I feel like this is more of just like a standard, straight down the road banana bread. Something you would find in like a diner or something like that, and it's very good. I would like to have a conversation with him just to ask why he doesn't like to whip, you know, your butter and sugar or cream it together. Pretty much every other recipe you'll find online calls for that. Maybe you just didn't want to clean a mixer or something like that, but I don't know if this is because of that, but this one does seem to lack something texturally that the Bon Appetit one has. This is really good though. The banana flavor is at the forefront. The dark chocolate cuts any, you know, excess sweetness that you might have. But for right now, I think Bon Appetit has to stay at number 1. Now, I think it's only fair that the reigning champion gets to go last, so up next is my own version. I don't remember exactly how or why I came up with this recipe. I know it's a variation of like a family recipe we've had, and then I tweaked it to fit with the pumpkin spice month. But I remember it being great, so I grabbed some flour and kosher salt, semi-sweet chips, and white sugar, as well as dark brown sugar, some milk and some pumpkin puree, baking soda, very strong coffee in the world's best coffee mug, vanilla extract, pumpkin pie spice, 1 egg, and some unsalted butter. You can never forget the most important part, the pumpkin spice latte that we have to make homemade because no coffee shops are selling it yet. But it's never too early, and this recipe is freaking delicious. If you never tried to make your own homemade version, go do it. I'll leave the link down in the description. All you do is heat your milk, your pumpkin, and your sugar until it's just barely steaming, and then finish with your vanilla, your pumpkin pie spice, and your coffee. That's literally it. As for the remainder of this recipe, I don't really feel like doing the whole narration again, so 2016 David, can you take it away for me? I promise you, or at least I hope, it'll be worth it in the end. But we're gonna start with our dry ingredients. So in a nice big glass bowl, I threw in 2 cups of flour, a teaspoon of baking soda, a pinch of salt, and mix that all together. You're going to throw in a whole stick of softened butter along with 3/4 of a cup of your dark brown sugar, and then mix that together either with your hand mixer or your stand mixer, it doesn't really matter. In your third bowl, you are going to throw in 1 egg, about a 1/2 cup of your pumpkin spice latte, and a tablespoon of your pumpkin pie spice. That might seem like a lot, but don't be afraid because this stuff isn't all that potent. But once I got those 3 ingredients mixed up together, we can finally get to the main event of this recipe, which is of course the bananas. You're going to take your bananas, peel them all up, and then mash them into a bowl. First you're going to take the egg and pumpkin spice latte mixture and put that into the bananas. Once you've got those 2 bowls thoroughly mixed up together, you're gonna throw that bowl into the brown sugar and butter mixture, mix that up as well, and then finally you're gonna throw that into your dry ingredients. This may seem like overkill and a lot of extra unnecessary work, but trust me, I don't know the exact science behind doing this, but it comes out 110 times better than when you just throw it all in the same bowl right off the bat. After just a couple minutes of mixing all of your ingredients up together, I finally topped it all off with about a half cup of semi-sweet chocolate chips. Is the flour completely necessary? I don't know. I just do it all the time because why not, right? And we back to present day. Thank you, past David, for doing that for me. This smells incredible. The pumpkin is just making me drool. So let's get a taste of option number 3. I'm kind of nervous, guys. I have no business putting my sorry self up against actual professional chefs. I also had to bring back the preschool plate. Shout out any OGs who remember this. I just love pumpkin spice things. It needs to be fall, and this quarantine mess needs to be over already. Yeah, there's no way I won't be biased here. How am I gonna sit here and rank myself with, like, actual professional chefs? This is freaking good, though. I'll try to figure out another way to actually rank these unbiasedly, but for now, I'll just, like, keep myself in a different corner or something. Last up today is the reigning champion, Sam, the cooking guy. I was really happy to see a lot of you went over to his channel, because he's one of my favorites. I grabbed my now depleting box of flour and light brown sugar, sour cream, kosher salt, and brandy, baking soda, butter, eggs, and bananas. Now this recipe is probably the most different of any of them, even from mine, because it all comes together in the same bowl. You want to melt your butter instead of cream it with the sugar. You throw in brandy instead of vanilla. It's pretty out there. Honestly, this is the opposite of my version in terms of attainability, because it all comes together in one bowl. Also, I've been waiting to address this to all you geniuses in the comments of my cheese wheel video. Yes, Hennessy is cognac, but all cognac is brandy. It just happens to be made in the cognac region of France. Do most normal people use Hennessy when a recipe calls for brandy? No, but I'm not normal, so there you go. Sam's original video is pretty funny too, because he completely forgot to include bananas. He just ended up mashing them in the final batter. So whenever the video first flashes the word bananas, I'm gonna assume that's where they were supposed to go in. He calls for the smallest pan of the day. This is like 3.5 by 7 or 7.5 or something. And then he finishes the top with half of a fresh banana. I've never seen anybody else do this. It should make for a pretty cool end product though, because once it comes out, you have to sprinkle on some more brown sugar and then melt it as if it's a creme brulee. Just try not to literally light your entire cake on fire. It has been an insanely long day of banana bread making, approximately 12 hours, but our fourth and final recipe is ready to be tasted. I know I addressed this at the very beginning, but his recipe uses some sliced almonds. Again, I can't, and his is the only one that didn't use chocolate chips, so this is like the plainest one yet. I'm having a hard time figuring this one out, because you can see all the banana chunks in there, but you don't really taste it. It's like definitely not one of the first flavors you get. Sour cream is also an interesting choice. I don't know if it was the right one. It's a little bit drier than the others, but I'm gonna try them all again and make sure I'm right here. Yeah, I'm good with this. We're gonna end up in this order: Bon Appetit, Chef John, Sam the Cooking Guy. Not a bad day. Before we finish up today, I think I have a decent idea. I might cut a few little samples of all 4 of our breads and then give it to some unsuspecting people and let them choose their favorites.
I don't have makeup on.
You look gorgeous.
What do you want me to do?
You have to taste all 4 of these. All you have to do is pick your favorite. You don't have to rank them or anything. Just pick one. Alright, snap reaction. Oh. Number 3. Disclaimer, did I tell you whose was whose or anything about them?
I didn't even have a chance to ask.
Okay. I'll blur your face if you want.
Hey, we like it.
What?
No.
I'm doing a taste test for him, you know, fart.
I'll.
Makeup on, I remember.
My arm's hurting, so hurry up. I don't need any specific feedback. I don't need rankings. I just need your favorite. Did I tell you whose is whose or anything about them?
No.
Okay, pick one.
One.
Okay. Thanks. Hey. Oh. Hurry up and get dressed. This is important. If you could only eat one of them, what would you go for?
Alright, one is better than two. So I'm gonna just put that over here.
Why are you putting on your dresser?
This is 3.
Okay.
I think 3 is better than 1, but I'm gonna hold that thought.
You just want to show off your water bottle, you loser.
If I wanted to do that, I would have held it like this.
What a hype beast.
4 is too plain.
Okay.
Hold on, I gotta try. Hold on.
You just want to eat them all. I appreciate you actually taking this seriously and, you know, trying to test your palate.
Alright, 1 has more chocolate in it, which is like helps, you know? But 3's, like the actual bread, is better. And there's a flavor of it in there. I don't know what it is, so
Just pick one.
it's kind of a toss up, but I think 1 I like better.
Okay. Thanks.
With that, I don't get to know anything?
Nope.
Hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, leave me a big old like. Follow me over on Instagram and Twitter if you don't already. If you really like these versus episodes, let me know down in the comments, even though I get the most shit for them. But I'll keep doing them if you guys love them. Have a fantastic weekend. I will see you right back here next time. Peace.
With the M without the AD. Flipping burgers and my money super lazy. Try and make a meal tonight, they ain't paying me. Try and supersize my life with my A-team. Yeah, our style wasn't wavy, but we had a vision.